Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. We are now going to take you live to the county of Bungoma, where we'll have a conversation with the county boss, Governor Ken Lusaka, of a myriad of issues as Kenya marks around 13 years of devolution. What are some of the key things, key issues and key milestones that they have seen with a specific focus on the county of Bungoma? Thank you, Mr. Governor, for joining us on our broadcast tonight.
Right.
Let's begin with where you sit tonight. Kenyans have seen around 12 years of devolution. You have served as governor for 2 terms, one of the few governors to serve 2 non-consecutive terms that took a break. We'll talk about, your stint as the Speaker of the Kenyan Senate. But in a nutshell, give us an overview of how you look at devolution and how you look at your highlights and milestones as governor of the county of Bungoma.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kitili. First, maybe let me use this earliest opportunity to congratulate Harambee Stars, our team. Though they have gone out of the championship, but they have put up a very good fight. And I'm sure that next time we shall be able to go further. They have gone out with a lot of honor. Now, coming back to devolution, like you've rightly said, I'm one of the pioneer governors who were elected in 2013 to start the structures of county governments. It was not easy, but some of the things, the highlights that I'm very happy about is that the 2010 constitution, that when it was promulgated, that brought in devolution, one of the greatest things that has happened was public participation in a lot of the things that are happening. People are given an opportunity to make a decision on what they want to happen in the areas. And I remember in the past, before devolution, something like the budget was shrouded in a lot of secrecy. But now, Mwananchi, say in Bungoma, is able to participate in the budget-making process. So they are able to say, this is what is going to come, this is what they want as a county. So some of the areas that I would really point out, say not just for Bungoma, areas like infrastructure. There's been a lot of development of infrastructure which hitherto never used to happen, because somebody would make a decision in Nairobi that this is what we want to happen. Another area is in the areas of agriculture, areas of health. I can proudly tell you that counties, because we normally meet as council of governors, areas like Wajir that had never seen a cesarean. So the first successful cesarean operation happened in Wajir because of devolution, thanks to devolution. You come to some of the areas that had not seen tarmac at all. Again, through devolution, the county governments have been able to put tarmac roads in some of those areas that had been completely ignored. So that devolution of decision making, the devolvement of funds, and the functions that were devolved, funds, the constitution did say funds follow functions. So these devolved functions that came to the ground have seen a turnaround of a lot of things. For example, the ECDs, like in Bungoma, I was the first governor to recruit 2,000 ECD teachers, get them a scheme of service, and put them on P&P. I'm happy that now we have a complete, a unified approach on the recruitment of ECDs. The other day when we were in the Devolution Conference, we launched the food policy. Already in Bungoma had started an UJI program, a program that is targeting our young learners, the ECD young learners, which has also already seen an increase in the number of students that are now coming to the ECD institutions. So I think there's a lot that we can talk about in terms of agriculture, in terms of health, in terms of even environment, and all the functions that we devolved. But the most critical for me is that Mwananchi is able to be part and parcel of the development that is happening in their areas.
Every year, as Kenyans celebrate the 2010 Constitution, we have very robust discussions about devolution. Would you say devolution is where it should be? Or could we have done much better as a nation in terms of implementing devolution?
I'm sure we are there, just like any other new system. It will have its teething problems, it will have its challenges. Like the challenges that we faced as our first governors are not the same challenges that we are now facing. Coming back as the third governor of Bungoma now, the challenges are completely different. When we started, it was extremely difficult because there were no structures. We had to start from scratch because nobody knew exactly what was to be done. Then we had the second governors, and this is the third layer. I know that we are making very good progress, and there is still room for improvement. I know we are not exactly where we are because even some developed countries that are also implementing devolution are still having challenges. So these are not unique to Kenya. These are not unique to us as a country, but I'm sure that there is still room for improvement. But we are making very good steps towards making devolution be what the Kenyans really wanted.
Now, you've served as governor for 2 terms. You've also served as Speaker of the Kenyan Senate, which is the house of our bicameral parliament that is tasked with oversighting the devolved units, the counties. What are your key learnings in terms of the working relationship between the governors or the counties and the Senate or Parliament, for that matter?
One of my greatest achievements, and I thank God that I went there as a Speaker, having served as a governor. Remember, during our first term, there was very bad blood between the senators and the governors as a result of, governors being what was called summoned to go and explain audit queries that had been raised by the Auditor General. But when I went there as a Speaker, I did explain to the Senate and my fellow governors that, you see, this should not even be called summons. They should be called invitations to go and clarify. So during my term as a Speaker, the relationship between the Senate and the governors was very good. Even when we had what we are calling the Senate Mashinani, it was implemented during my time. The first Senate Mashinani was in Uasin Gishu, then we went to Kitui. Before we went to the third one, COVID set in. So that good relationship, the rapport between the Senate and the governors was very important because, the first time it was very acrimonious. The governors felt they were being harassed by the senators. The senators also wanted to stamp their authority like, we are oversighting you, and therefore it was very acrimonious. But it also gave me an opportunity to now look at all the counties, the 47 counties, from that bird's view. And I realized that, there were some counties that were making some mistakes. There were reports that will come there. And I was now able to sit down with some of the governors to discuss some of the issues that I had seen as a Speaker. And now even when I came back as a third governor, some of the mistakes that, for example, I may have committed during my first term, I'm not committing them this time because I learned that. And that gave me a very good opportunity. And I'm happy that process of having a governor going to be a Speaker, because even the current Speaker, Mr. Kingi, was also a governor of Kilifi. I think we can use that opportunity, we can leverage to have the Senate and the governors work together, because the one oversights the other one is implementing, and we should not encourage this acrimonious, engagement between the Senate and the governors, because at the end of the day, we all serve the people. And, the importance of, for example, say a governor being invited to go to the Senate, it goes to clarify some of the issues that may have been either misinterpreted, misreported, or that kind of thing. Although, again, if you ask me, ideally, the CECs should be the ones going to explain, because they are the accounting officers in the counties.
All right. You've spoken about governors going to serve as speakers in the Senate. We've also seen another trend where governors who've served 2 terms go and serve or vie for a senatorial seat in their counties and go and serve as senators. What is your take on that career trajectory?
I think there's no problem. For me, we are all in the devolution family. I remember our first minister for devolution, if you recall, was Anne Waiguru when we became governors. Then by that time she was a bit tough. Then she ended up becoming a governor. So I would not be surprised if she ends up as a senator. Maybe I don't know what her ambitions are. So we are all in the devolution family, and you know there's no problem changing position. It's just like football, where you are playing, you are still in the field. You are maybe put to position 10 or told to go and play the defense or midfield, but you are still in the devolution family. I have no problem, and the Constitution does not restrict anybody from running for that particular seat. It's a good experience.
All right, let's talk very quickly about the just concluded Devolution Conference. We've had a number of those. Do they yield any, fruits, so to speak, or are they just talk shops, as it were?
No, I think the devolution conferences are very, very important. I remember the first one was in Kwale. Even the Homa Bay one was a good experience. You see, when you meet as governors and the 47 counties, each coming with whatever they are doing, instead of reinventing the wheel, there are lessons that you can learn from say Wajir, Moranga. You remember Moranga was there displaying how they are using their system, their revenue system to make sure that there's efficiency and effective collection of all source revenue. So that kind of interaction gives as an opportunity to interact as governors, to look at the challenges, to look at a way forward. What do we want to do? Because, we need to be objective, because sometimes you may think you are doing very well, but when you go and see, say, what Nyandarua is doing or what Mombasa is doing, it gives you a challenge. And it gives us also an opportunity to interact as a family of devolution, members of the county assembly, the Senate, members of the governors, and all other stakeholders, those who are supporting us in the devolution, our partners who are also supporting us financially. So it's a good thing that we go there, we talk, and there are those resolutions. All that I would appeal is that let's endeavor to implement the resolutions that are made in such conferences. And when we meet, say, that's why we are doing it after 2 years. When we meet in the next devolution conference, say 2027, we should be able to take stock of what has been implemented that was recommended in the past devolution conference, so that from there we can know whether we are making progress or whether it's just a talk show.
In the devolution conference in Homa Bay, this year's devolution conference, there was a bit of criticism over the spending that was being reported by the counties vis-a-vis what they were showing in their stands, albeit it was symbolic. And the county of Bungoma, your county was fingered. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Hello?
Mr. Governor, if you can hear me, I was asking you about the just concluded devolution conference in Homa Bay. Just some criticism that we saw against the counties over the spending that was witnessed vis-a-vis what they had to show in their stands, including the county of Bungoma.
Yes. I think it was a good show. I was there. Bungoma, we had 2 booths. There was also a scramble for space in the booths. So when you go, for example, normally we would have an office, say, for the governor, something that looks like an office for the governor. So you'll go and find the seat of the governor and the photo. Then you go to what they are displaying. That was happening. That's what was happening. So when you go to what is being displayed, then you can see what county is displaying. I think if we must invest if we also want to harvest more. So I don't think that it was an over expenditure by any county to come and display or show what they are doing in their counties, the achievements they are having, and the challenges that they are having. I think it was a good show. For me, if you ask me, I think it's something worth the funds that were spent.
All right, we have less than 1 minute. My final question to Mr. Governor, as you conclude your second and final term, what next for you?
I think for me now, I am concluding my politics in the counties. I'll now be focusing at the national government, national level, maybe in the executive or something like that, because I've done almost everything. I have been a district commissioner, I have been a governor, I have been a speaker, I have been a PS. So I think I've done almost everything. So I think now I will be focusing at the national government, the national politics, because now with the counties, the constitution does not allow me to run another term. But I think I want to thank the people of Bungoma for giving me this opportunity and for this exposure. They are flagship projects that I've done for them. We are doing a bit of roads. We are putting tarmac in the roads. I've done one of the high altitude training center, the public one, the only one in the Republic of Kenya in Mount Elgon. I'm putting up modern markets in Kamkuyu. I'm putting up a bus park in Kandui, and other markets in other places like Chwele, Naitiri, Webuye, and all over the county. So I think because of that, that places me now in a position where I can now get into the national space now to compete at the national space, because at the county level, I think I have done my best to serve my people.
Thank you, Governor, for joining us on the broadcast tonight. We wish you the very best. Governor.
Thank you so much.
Governor Ken Lusaka, Governor of the County of Bungoma, speaking to us live from the County of Bungoma. That's how we leave it on NTV Weekend Edition this Friday night, the night that Kenya's Harambee Stars heroically bowed out of the African Nations Championships CHAN. Of course, we shall continue to host the rest of the tournament here. We shall continue keeping an eye on that and covering it for you in the way only we